Most people didn't know his name. To the customers at Briar and Hearth, a downtown farm-to-table restaurant with white plates and even whiter tablecloths, he was just the guy behind the glass. But his real name was Miguel Rosario. Mid-40s, thick arms from years of lifting cast iron pans. Quiet, sharp-eyed, always humming old Spanish lullabies under his breath. He wasn't flashy. He didn't wear a tall chef's hat. He didn't shout at his staff or curse at the fish. Miguel just cooked, and in his hands, food wasn't just food. It was comfort. It was memory. It was something close to love. Back in Puerto Rico, his grandmother used to say, "Some people talk with their mouths. You, Miguel, you talk with your hands." He never forgot that, even when the world got cold. Even when kitchens got louder and whiter and stricter. Even when customers stopped looking into the kitchen window and just snapped photos of their plates. Miguel stayed quiet, but his food always said what he couldn't. It started small. One rainy Thursday night, just after closing, Miguel saw a woman outside near the alley, soaked, shivering, clutching a plastic bag of clothes. She wasn't asking for anything. She wasn't panhandling. She was just sitting beneath the awning, trying to stay dry. Miguel walked back into the kitchen. He packed a plate of roasted chicken, 2 pieces of crusty bread, and half a lemon tart, wrapped it, carried it out, placed it gently beside her. Didn't say much, just nodded, and went back inside. The next night, 2 more people were there. He fed them too. By the end of the week, word had spread, not loudly, just enough. At closing time, 3 or 4 folks would quietly wait near the alley, never asked, never knocked, and Miguel, he never turned them away. He just made more plates, sometimes leftovers, sometimes dishes he bought ingredients for himself. No receipts, no applause, just full bellies and full hearts. Briar and Hearth was known for its sleek lighting and lemon foam. It wasn't the kind of place where kids wore sneakers or waiters brought ketchup unasked. Everything was curated, timed, polished, and corporate noticed everything. One Tuesday afternoon, the regional manager came through for a surprise visit. His name was Victor Hart, all-pressed shirt and clipboard, not a crumb on his shoes. He watched quietly, then pulled Miguel aside, near the walk-in cooler. "What's this I hear about food being given out the back door?" Miguel kept his voice steady. "Leftovers. To folks who need it." Victor frowned. "That's not protocol. You understand the risk, the liability?" Miguel nodded, but didn't back down. "They were hungry. I had food." Victor didn't smile. "That's not your call." The letter came on Friday. No face-to-face, no meeting, just a folded paper, on the break room table. "Due to violations of policy, your employment is terminated effective immediately." He didn't cry, didn't shout. He just untied his apron, folded it carefully, and placed it on the hook by the door. Outside, it was raining again. The alley was quiet. The same woman from that first night stood there, coat pulled tight around her shoulders. She looked up, saw his hands were empty. "No food tonight?" she asked gently. He shook his head. "No job tonight." And yet, she handed him a paper napkin. Folded inside was a note. "You fed me when no one else would. That's still the best thing I've tasted in years." Coming next, Part 5 and 6, The Turning Point, when a famous food critic comes looking for the man behind the meal. Shall I continue? 4 you said. 5 6, ChatGPT said. Absolutely, Racky Bowl. Here's Part 5 and 6 of your story, deeply expanded, with emotional layers, slow transformation, and the kind of meaningful twist that resonates with your 65-plus audience. This is where compassion meets recognition, and the story begins to turn. The restaurant kept running. New chef, new specials, same prices. But something had changed. Customers didn't finish their plates as often. The mashed plantains were a little too salty. The roasted garlic tasted more like lemon now, as if someone followed a recipe, but missed the reason for it. And one night, a woman with silver earrings and a leather-bound notebook came in and ordered the chef's tasting menu. Her name was Claudine March, and though she didn't look it, she was one of the top food critics in the state. She didn't introduce herself, didn't ask for extra attention. She just took small bites, scribbled notes, and tilted her head often. When dessert arrived, a rosemary crème brûlée, she pushed it aside. She called over the waiter. "Who cooked this?" she asked. "Chef Oliver, ma'am. Our new hire." Brilliant resume. She nodded politely. "Who cooked here 3 weeks ago?" The waiter blinked. "You mean Miguel?" Her eyes lit up. "Miguel Rosario." "Yes. But he's gone." Fired. A pause. "Yes, ma'am." She didn't respond. She just opened her notebook and wrote in sharp, precise strokes. Then stood up, left a tip large enough to pay for a bus pass, and walked out without dessert. The next morning, her review hit the front page of the Sunday food column. The headline read, "Briar and Hearth, Pretty Plates, Missing Soul," and below that, "The food still looks the part, but the hands that once made you feel at home have been replaced. I came looking for comfort. I left hungry for something more, something Miguel Rosario used to serve nightly." Claudine March. Miguel was sweeping the sidewalk outside his cousin's bodega when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but he did. "Mr. Rosario," a woman's voice asked. "This is Claudine March." He froze. She didn't wait for him to respond. "I ate your food once, 2 years ago, at a shelter event. You didn't speak to me, but your stew did." A pause. "And last week, I tasted your absence." Miguel cleared his throat. "I don't work there anymore." "Good," she said simply. "Because I have something better." She told him about a new venture she was launching, a small cafe project, partnered with nonprofits, a place that would serve the public, and also train young cooks from shelters and halfway homes. She wanted him to be the head chef. He didn't answer right away, not because he doubted the offer, but because for the first time in weeks, he felt full again. She added one more thing before hanging up. "You weren't wrong, Miguel. You were early." Coming next, Part 7 and 8, the new restaurant, the community it feeds, and the lasting lesson of quiet defiance. "Shall I continue?" 4OU said. 7-8. ChatGPT said. "Absolutely, Rakibol. Here's your powerful and emotional, Part 7 and Part 8, deeply expanded, and crafted to reflect everything your audience loves. Quiet courage, public respect, and the kind of ending that lingers long after the video fades. This is the moment where humanity triumphs over policy, and a simple act of kindness turns into something no rulebook could stop." The cafe opened quietly, no ribbon cutting, no press release, just a chalkboard sign by the door that read, "Warm plates, warm hearts, come in, be fed." It was called Casa Alma, which meant home soul, a name Miguel had whispered once to Claudine during a phone call. She wrote it down and never forgot. The space was small, a few tables, an open kitchen, big windows with flower pots on the sill. But it didn't take long for people to find it. Word spread fast, not because of ads, but because of stories. The shelter staff came in first, ordering soup and hugging Miguel, with tears in their eyes. Then came some of the people he used to feed in secret, now washed up, chin high, sitting at real tables with real menus. They didn't need to ask for food anymore. Now they just ordered, and were served with dignity. One man leaned over a bowl of rice and beans and said, "This tastes like when my mom used to sing. I haven't felt that in years." The cafe grew, not bigger, just deeper. Volunteers became paid trainees. Trainees became line cooks. And Miguel? He taught like he cooked, with patience, quiet hands, and deep love. He still didn't say much, but when he did, it meant something. One afternoon, Claudine stopped by for lunch. She sat near the window, sipping broth and smiling. "Do you realize," she said, "you've created something the restaurant never could?" Miguel looked up from plating a dish. "What's that?" "A place that feeds people, not just their stomachs, but the part of them that life forgets." Outside, someone was leaving flowers by the door again. No card, just tulips in a mason jar. And taped to the door was a sticky note that read, "Thank you for making room for people like me." Today, Casa Alma isn't just a cafe, it's a movement. Schools come for field trips, aspiring chefs ask for apprenticeships, families in need come not for pity, but for presence. Miguel still works the back line, still hums lullabies under his breath. But now, he's not just cooking, he's growing people. There's a wall in the cafe with photos, not of dishes, but of the people who've passed through. A teen who went from dishwashing to culinary school. A mother who found steady work in the front of house. A once homeless vet who now manages supply orders. And in the middle of that wall, framed in a silver border, is the Food Critic's review that changed everything. Right next to it, his termination letter. Miguel insisted it stay there. "Let them see what got me fired," he said once, and what it built instead. The last note on the menu reads, "If you're hungry, sit. If you're full, share. There's always a seat at the table." And under that, in the same handwriting, Miguel used to write grocery lists. "This kitchen doesn't follow rules, it follows hearts." They fired him for feeding the hungry, but the world had a bigger appetite for kindness. He didn't fight back with words. He just picked up his knife, his pan, and his purpose. And from one quiet kitchen, he served something no corporate policy could ever contain: a full plate of dignity.